Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Eileen, and this is another Dose of Medicine walk. And, well, for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So I know my videos and my broadcasts have gotten sort of slightly spaced out a little bit more, and my apologies for that. It's been kind of a busy time up here on the mountain. We are preparing for the potential of having to evacuate, and having more time means that I've got more time to go through, and hopefully the rain, fingers crossed, will be holding off. And at any point it could be coming in. So because I have more time, I'm being a little bit more meticulous about my, what I take and what I'm packing, and, taking trips to my storage unit to take certain things there, deciding, what goes to storage, what goes in the car, and most importantly, what is it that I will be willing to leave behind. And it's a challenging piece. I really thought that it would not affect me quite so much, having just recently been through it. And it does, I guess, because at that point, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what, because when we left, we figured we'd be back home in a couple of days, and it was, right around a month before I even knew I still had a home to come to. Well, this time, it really is expected to be much broader, the threat level to the properties. And so it really is, and it brings up emotions from when I left, because once again, I'll be leaving, and it may be a while before I find out whether or not I can come home. And because, if the roads wash away, which there's a distinct possibility, since we've seen it before, where all of a sudden, 2 lanes become 1 lane because a part of it is just completely slid out and, down a gully. Because I know that that could happen, if it goes badly, I might not be able to come back home till spring, which at that point, I may end up just having to live somewhere else. So it is a lot to have to, just kind of settle myself into that idea, and it's tricky. And now that it's just Luna and myself, we, it's sort of a different kind of dynamic. It's a different type of feel to it. So, wish me luck. And it kind of brings to mind the idea of what's called radical acceptance. And radical acceptance is from the Buddhist tradition of detachment. And the idea is that you accept that in any given moment, especially rough moments, that it sucks, it hurts, it's not fair, I hate this, and it is. It is what is. And when we stay wrapped up in the emotion around an event, it's sort of like, when you think back on a past embarrassment, a past wrong that was done to you, or maybe even a past wrong that you did, it ends up going into that place of just reliving it over and over and over again, and dealing with that frustration and dealing with all of that. And really, in a lot of ways, it's sort of like staying on a battlefield long after the battle is ended. Because what has happened has happened. Nothing is going to change that it happened. What we can do is we can put what happened into perspective. We can be able to say, okay, what did I learn from it? And what can I do with that knowledge? How can I use that experience to grow as a person? How can I use that experience to become more? And the ability to look for what it is we gain out of an experience. And that can be hard, and it can be very tough to focus when something just sucks. And as my saying, Life is fun until it isn't, and it sucks until it doesn't. Well, being able to look for whatever gift is in it, and even if the only gift that is in it is the fact that you were strong enough to survive it, you were strong enough, you were smart enough, you were resilient enough, you were creative enough, even if it's just that you made it through a situation, that's a lot. And it's a lot to be able to claim for yourself, to kind of be able to say, well, at least I got this out of it. So even with the difficult situations that we face, there's always something about it that is that, even if it's that gift of wisdom that we gain. And if we can separate the judgment, and see, that's what that is. If somebody either judging someone else or judging ourselves. I mean, we all have those things that, you'll be just going along, and then all of a sudden you remember something foolish that you did that you regret, and you kind of start beating yourself up over it. Or something will trigger the memory of a hurt that someone did. Maybe they said something that you didn't like, or you felt that they were disrespectful to you. And then all of a sudden, there we are back on that empty battlefield, swinging our weapon around, but there's nobody there. There's nobody there to interact with. All we have is the repeated memory of the experience, and maybe throwing in, well, I wish I had said this, or I wish I had done that. But we didn't. The event will never change. It is there. So by learning to be able to remove the intensity of it and the emotion and the story that's attached to it, because every experience we attach a story to, where either we're the hero or the victim or the villain. So if we can release that and just go with what was, and then let what was stay in the past, be able to accept it. And maybe, I mean, we need to practice this. And with practice, you get better at it. When I start feeling myself getting wrapped up in, an old memory or an old resentment, I will say out loud to myself, it's done. It's over. And I will repeat that to myself until another thought comes in. And usually I'll focus on something. It's like, okay, so in the future, this is how it's going to be. This is how, and I start focusing my mind on the creation of the future I want based on what I learned in that thing. If maybe I trusted someone who I shouldn't have trusted so much, then it's like, okay, now I know the signs, and I know that I will be more careful in the future, and by being more careful, this is the future that I'm going to have. So don't let yourself get too wrapped up, in the stories of the past, because you're just alone on a battlefield. And by being able to, pull out the wisdom, to pull out the good stuff, pull out the gift of what happened, and what you learned from it, how you grew from it. I mean, yes, when people hurt us, it's hard. And we, it can be difficult. And issues of things like post-traumatic stress disorder, and in some areas they refer to it as post-traumatic stress injury. When we're dealing with something like that, often we need help. Because sometimes it isn't just a matter of reframing our thinking. Sometimes we really need additional help. So if you're working on something like this, which I'm very proud of you for working on it, it's important to be able to reach out to the professionals who can be able to assist you with that. Because there's nothing wrong with admitting, you know what, this is a bit of a stretch for me. I need to be able to get some help to do this. I mean, we don't pull our own teeth. We rarely, do our own, advanced electrical work. or are advanced plumbing or advanced, auto repair. I mean, some people have that talent. And if you don't have that talent personally, of course, you go to someone who knows what they're doing, someone who has done it a lot of times, who can be able to assist you and help you navigate through that. If you're going through a terrain that you're not familiar with, it's good to have a guide. And by finding somebody who can assist you with that, who can set you on that road and help you find the tools to be able to manage that radical acceptance, then it is going to end up being a lot easier. And as we move through, it's, as I'm filming this video, tomorrow, the areas, the counties, where I live, well, actually, the counties where I work, are going into a shutdown, even more so than what they've already got. And it's going to be hard on a lot of people and accepting, and it's very easy to want to just rail against the circumstances. But railing against the circumstances will not change them. All we can change is how we deal with it. And rather than, and if you need to stomp around the house, and there is that piece of being able to go through the grieving process. So if you need to go through the 5 stages of grief over being shut down and being locked down, and, a lot of people, as I, had a hard time at Thanksgiving, and it's not going to be an easier Christmas. So the idea that, maybe you do need to go through those 5 stages of grief, and the important thing to remember is the final stage of grief is acceptance. So being able to, utilize our tools, to utilize the help that we have to say, okay, how can I get from where I am to acceptance? What does that look like? And what are the things that I need to do? And usually the first one is to acknowledge it sucks, and it's hard, and you hate it, and all of those things. Because by taking ownership of what you feel in that moment, that becomes your starting point. And then you can move forward by really looking at the experience, looking at why it hurts you. It's like, okay, it's not just, well, we're shut into our houses. Okay, why does that hurt? Why does that bother? Well, because I don't feel as connected to my family, and it's been all year long. So, look at that. Look at those deeper layers of what really is at the heart of what is causing you pain about that situation. What is holding you on that empty battlefield? So, be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, be kind with yourself, and be able to accept. And, between everything that I've been doing, I feel really bad that, I'm putting out fewer videos. And I had to go through that acceptance with myself and realize, okay, there's other things that I need to do right now that I'm on a time limit for. Because even though we're going to get a few days advance notice before the rain starts, I want to be able to have everything done and everything gone through and have everything ready and have myself ready when that time comes. Because as soon as it starts raining, it could be a split second. It could be on any moment's notice that I have to leave. So there are things I need to take care of, and I want to be able to have that be a focus and be able to take the time to make sure that that's okay. So if you want more contact with me on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays and Saturdays, I have a Twitch live stream, and there's a link for that in the description, and you can join me there live. And it's cool, and in a way it's less, because doing videos, I have the editing and the downloading and all of that stuff, and that takes extra time. And with the Twitch, it's all live streamed, so it's much more organic. And if you want to take a look at what some of those look like, there's a YouTube channel where I just download the live stream. So it is a lot easier to maintain that, and you can go check that out as well. And that's a part of what is helping me to be able to let go of some of the parts that I can't change and focus on the things that I can. Focus not so much on what has been taken away from me, but what I feel I can create. So find what it is you can create. Remember, we're all trying to get something that we can be able to say for New Year's Eve, that we can make the most of. And I will be live streaming on Twitch on New Year's Eve. I mean, assuming I still have power and assuming that, I'm able to set up a stream wherever I am if I have to leave. So that's going to kind of be organic, but my hope is to do a nice big long stream on New Year's Eve. And that's a part of me taking control of what I have, because I don't want to be alone on a battlefield. I want to be able to step off of it and then find that new garden. Because frankly, I'd rather spend time in the garden than on a battlefield. Because in a garden, it's all about what can be grown. So, focus on what you can grow, create your own garden, leave the battlefield behind, and the stories that go with it. You can do this. And if you need help, ask for help. And if you're not sure where to find help, you can contact me and I'd be happy to help you, locate the resources wherever you're at. So, thank you for joining me. And if you like this video, then please like this video. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section. You can reach me through the links in the description. I'm on Discord, Twitch. You can follow me on Twitter. You can join up with my Facebook group, Medicine Walk with Dr. Eileen. And my email address is there. So, reach out if you like. And if there's a topic you'd like me to cover, then please let me know. Otherwise, I will keep you guys posted about what my progress is. I will at least a couple of times a week post. And I will do my best to maintain that while I'm handling everything else. So, until next time, and as always, I wish you balance and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.